Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today we're going to be talking about self-harm with a twist. My guest, Diana Garcia, is going to have a conversation with me, and we're going to be talking about self-harm and what you can do to prevent self-harming yourself. Get you something to drink, get you a snack, and come on back. Good morning,
Good
Diana.
morning. How are you?
Girl, I'm feeling refreshed. I went out last night, had a little fun. But
Woohoo.
yeah, I came in early though. I came in early and I went to sleep. So I'm kind of refreshed. I got up early and did my little workout and now I'm here.
Yay.
Yeah. I was gonna I had bought me some Chinese food. And so I'm just like, I'll just wait a little later to eat that. 'Cause, I love like certain fried rice. And
Ate
so
your young.
yes, that's my
Yep.
thing.
Did you get it some?
I
Ate your
guess
young?
I did. I
Oh,
got that and fried rice, chicken fried rice.
okay. Yum.
So I'm gonna take that down sometime today. Well, Dana, why don't we start by you introducing yourself? You are definitely a friend to the show, so we can let you introduce yourself and we'll go from there.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Diana Garcia. I am a program manager with a nonprofit, and I deal with homeless situations with the seniors and veterans and the whole spectrum of people in Placer County.
Nice, thank you. Dana, we need to talk about eventually we're gonna. I was thinking to myself like, why haven't we focused on like the homeless population? So we got to do one of those shows because I know we both can
Absolutely.
speak to that.
Absolutely.
Speak to
Yes, there's
that.
a lot of things to talk about with the homeless
Yeah.
in our communities.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Dana, do you or have you known anybody that or came in contact with anybody that did a form of self-harm? I did some research and the information I found out was very interesting to me. To be honest with you, I didn't know a lot about this topic, although I've came in contact with people who self-harm themselves, or I've seen people with marks and scars, and I always thought to myself, I wanted, is this due to self-harming themselves? But have you known or came in contact with people that did, self-harm to themselves?
Oh, and yes, I have, especially with the population that I work with.
Yeah,
Not only physical self harm, mental self harm,
yeah,
financial self harm.
yeah,
It's such a broad. I mean, the term is so generic, but there's so many things that people do to themselves, whether consciously or unconsciously,
yeah,
when it comes to self harm.
yeah.
Um, the population that I deal with right now, that's how they have to report in order to get into the program that I assist. It's self harm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, yes. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's so there's so many things that I mean, it's such a broad statement. You were talking about the physical ramifications of somebody doing self harm, with the cutting
Yeah,
and that kind of stuff. I've had clients that do that, and you see the scars up and down their arms. Mostly it's on their arms, and
yeah,
you can tell whether it's something that they're just doing self harm or if they're trying to commit suicide because of the way
exactly.
that they cut.
Yeah,
They cut, like a way, like on the wrist, they're trying to kill themselves because they're trying to get the artery. But if they're just cutting, sometimes, and from what I've been told from the people that I've worked with or assisted, they said it makes them feel
Hmm.
with the physical harm,
Yeah.
and that's why they do it. Which is really, when I first heard somebody say that to me, a client, I was like, I didn't think of it in those terms,
Yeah.
because I guess they're so numb that
Yeah.
they have to do something to make them feel.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that they can feel something is by
Hmm.
cutting themselves. And then they feel, it's kind of strange, a normalcy.
Yes.
It makes
Exactly.
them it makes them feel normal by doing that, which is odd to me, but I understand, because
Yeah.
especially if there's, of course, probably, 9 times out of 10, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I play one on TV.
Right. 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 Exactly.
I mean, with the people that I've worked with, it's usually some kind of form of abuse,
Yeah.
um, and past traumas and
Yes.
PTSD,
Hmm.
those kind of things where there's something really, really bad in the brain, which is so fabulous, our brain. It
Yeah.
makes you block out these memories and these occurrence. So then when you try to think, okay, how can I want to deal with this, but you don't know how, because if you
Yes.
don't have the tools, then they find a release, and cutting is one of those things.
That
And
is, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, so we got the physical.
Yeah.
I've been with people with physical, and also people who are hoarding,
Yeah.
who live in these conditions, which I have right now. I get to assist people with that, but they don't realize how unhealthy and how everything that can happen with them with the hoarding
Yeah.
affects their mental health
Hmm.
and their well-being. I wish there was some easy way to help or assist somebody with that situation, because most of the times people want to just clean it up and be done.
Yeah.
But that's not how it gets worked or fixed, or you know it's a process.
That's interesting that you talking about hoarding because I used to watch this show called Hoarders,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
taught man, it was so interesting. And when they will go out there to try and speak with the person who has the hoarding condition, I thought it was interesting how they will consult with a psychiatrist or a psychologist to try to understand why this person won't or can't or refuse to not live in those conditions. And I know one episode, they had a psychologist or psychiatrist on there, and they was talking with the person, and the loved ones of that person went to seek out a form of counseling because they want to understand this person's way of thinking, this person's way of life. And so when they got educated about hoarding, they went over to talk with the loved one. I mean, you couldn't even, it was just, in my opinion, it was a very unhealthy condition. Like it was just stuff everywhere, literally everywhere. Couldn't use the bathroom. I mean, it was just horrible. And when they approached the loved one, the lady literally broke, I mean, had a mental breakdown.
And
Literally,
they do,
yeah,
because I assist people with hoarding in
yeah,
the position that I'm in currently. And
yeah,
it's horrible because it takes over everything. Because
right,
most people think you just go in, you clean it up, and you're done, and
yeah,
that's not how it works.
yes,
Uh,
yes,
especially in what I'm doing right now, is that they have free will, so
yes,
they don't have to take care of that unless the situation becomes very critical.
right,
Like I have clients with that have housing vouchers, Section 8
yeah,
vouchers, and if they have inspections, then
yes,
they get written up, and then they can lose their voucher.
right,
So
exactly,
their supplement, or if they have a landlord, and they're like, we can't have this, we're going to evict this person if they don't take care of the situation. I mean,
yeah,
I've had this one lady in particular that I can think of. I mean, she absolutely didn't think that she was all this stuff to her was not a danger to her.
Yeah.
And I mean, it really took a little selling, so to speak, to see if we could help her and
Yeah.
trying to get her to deal with what the situation was, suggesting strongly about ASOC and getting some help in
Yeah.
that regard. But
Yeah.
if you don't think you have a problem, then that will it'll come back even if we get it
Yeah.
cleaned.
Yeah.
And even people with getting their kitchens cleaned and they're cleaning out all this stuff and there's dead rats in there, and
Yes.
they're just bringing out this stuff because I work with a hazmat company,
Yeah.
and you show the client, this is what was in your house, this was what
Yeah.
in your kitchen,
Yes.
and they still don't see it as a
Yeah.
problem.
Yes.
And
100%.
it's a mental health, it's definitely a mental health situation. And I
Hmm.
wish there was more resources that could help people with that situation because it happens more than you think.
Yes. Oh, yeah. A lot of time people it's hard for them to detach from items because they find comfort, a form of peace in these particular items that they, refuse or can't get rid of. I know another episode on this show that I watched, the one of the guy, I think it was one of the guy's dad or somebody. I mean, this place literally caught fire and they was
Oh,
able to get him out. It was like a son and daughter, but the son was spearheading the conversation about, decluttering. And they pulled up and they was able to get their dad out like in time, and he was sitting there mentally stuck
yeah.
because he's looking at all his items and it was just crazy to me. But that's when I first started to be aware about hoarding and the mental health effects that it have on a individual just by watching that show.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that people like to look because it's an interesting thing to
Yeah,
see, but it's very devastating, not
yeah,
only to the person, but to the client.
yeah,
So they or the person that lives in that situation because they don't see themselves. I mean, I've even had conversations with these with clients who have seen hoarding. That's like
yeah.
I'm not like those people.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and you try to be just listen and be sympathetic to it, but when the situation is where they're going to lose their housing, then we have to have that hard conversation. And it's like, well, I need all my stuff, but
Yeah.
if you have your stuff and you lose your housing, where's the stuff going?
Exactly. Exactly. That's
And so
exactly right.
that's the hard conversation that you have to have with somebody who's in that catch 22,
Yeah.
especially when they're going through the stuff and it's like, no, I have to keep that. I have to keep that.
Yes.
And then they have meltdowns.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the right vendor or people to help them with that or let them know that they do have the power,
Yeah.
it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, fortunately, we do have um, two vendors that I work with that are very, very patient and
Yeah.
sympathetic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's quite a process.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like once again, I didn't think of that in terms of self-harm, but you're 100% right. Another thing I could think of when it comes to self-harm is because self-harm is also triggered by anger. People want to take out their anger and stuff. And so I know somebody personally who may get upset and they just drive like at a fast pace. When I say drive, like just at a fast pace, to the point where you like, what are you doing? But in that moment, they are angry and they do not care what's happened um, in that moment, and they just go. Or I've known people that who may be upset or angry, and they just punch the wall, and before you know it, their hand is broken.
Yeah,
You know,
I've seen that too. And the thing is with that situation, is that you have to just kind of step back,
yeah,
let them go through that because it's almost like they get to a peak and
Yeah.
you just have to let happen, make
Yeah.
sure you're safe, of course,
Yeah.
and just take yourself from that situation and wait until they get out of that roller coaster, so to speak,
Yeah.
because not only are they hurting them, they could put you in harm too. So you have to be
Exactly.
careful with that kind of behavior. So yeah, unfortunately, I've had to deal with that situation too, especially with on the mental health aspect of it, where people are clients that have had autism and they get frustrated and they don't know what to do, so then
Yeah.
they lash out. And
Yeah.
so I've seen that situation also happen. And another one that some people might not think of self harm is the scammers. The
Oh, yeah.
scammers, they scam so many of our seniors that I've been directly involved in. And it's been really hard to talk to these people that have been scammed. So it's a situation that
Agree.
that needs extra kid gloves, so to speak, because they think that they're going to be winning this money. They
Hmm.
think, and they give their financial their monies away,
Yeah.
and they believe these people that groom them, and that's
Yes.
self harm because then they can end up losing everything.
Yes, absolutely. It's interesting you brought that up too as well because I have a friend whose grandmother just got recently scammed about 3 weeks ago, and they reached out to her because he ended up going away for the weekend, and they reached out to his grandmother and told the grandmother that they were a friend of his and that he was incarcerated.
Oh,
So she ended up sending them bail money and stuff like that. And obviously it was a scam, wasn't true. So when because they had told her like, well, he should be out in an hour, he should call you back, blah, 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 blah. 2 or 3 hours have passed, she ain't heard from nobody. So
oh,
then she started reaching out to loved ones, and the loved one that she reached out to actually was in communication with the grandson, which they was able to tell her, no, that's not true, blah, 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 blah. And she felt really, 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 really depressed after that situation, you know.
well, what they do is they get you all riled up. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, you got to do this now, because if you
yeah,
don't do this now, then they're going to jail, or
yeah,
this is going to happen. And so they get you in that moment to get you,
yeah,
and then you send the money, and
yeah,
then it's done.
yeah,
Instead of taking a step back to
yeah.
verify the information, because you're worried about that loved one, and they do that a lot to the elderly. uh,
Yes,
I mean, because they answer the phone more.
yeah, yeah,
So that can be a big barrier and something you have to teach or try to explain what will happen. And if somebody just leaves a message, just call them back after that, or listen to the message and then get some verification.
yeah.
But it happens. It happens a lot. I dealt with a couple people that have lost their life savings, have $500,000,
That's crazy.
with the one that I've dealt with the most. I mean, the reason why she even got flagged was because she emptied out her banking, checking, IRA, everything, but she was trying to get a loan
Yeah,
with the bank to try to pay this person some more money. And
yeah,
thankfully they called the authorities, and when we stepped in, she did not believe it. She still
yeah.
believed that this person was, because they had groomed her, and they'd been doing this for over a year.
Ain't that's crazy?
Over a year. And it almost like this person was her friend. And the really sad part on this one is that when we went to Social Security to get things changed with a payee, because thankfully she said yes with a payee, Social Security wouldn't let us change anything because the scammer had already set up an account where her Social Security benefits were going to go.
That's crazy.
And they're like, you don't have the right account number. And she goes, this is the account number. And then so I was with her when she was doing this process, and I let Social Security know she's being scammed, and
Yeah,
they're taking her money. This
yeah,
She doesn't know this account number,
yeah,
and so thankfully, with getting the payee information set up, that stopped that, and she didn't lose any money out of that account. But it was scary. She goes, "How did they get my information with Social Security?" I go, "You told them." I
Yeah.
said, you know, all those security questions that they ask you? I
Yeah.
said, this person was grooming you, asking you all these questions indirectly. And so that's how they got the information because you could do it online and over the phone. And you can answer these questions and redirect your benefits.
Yeah. It's so
It's
interesting you said that, Dana, because I never, this is an aha moment, by the way. I never looked at grooming as a form of self-harm the way that you explain it. Because one of the things that I always do with people that's close to me, especially like the younger generation, I always tell them, um, don't lay all your cards on the table.
mm-hmm,
100%. I would say that. And what I find is, especially with the younger generation, when they come across people that they think is cool or they really connect with, they tend to let their guards down
mm-hmm.
and they tend to remove away those boundaries.
That's the
And
grooming. That's the
yeah,
grooming.
that's exactly that's what says aha moment.
Uh-huh.
And they let the person come in like a flood.
Mm-hmm.
And now this person have total access to them. They have access to everything about them
Mm-hmm. They do.
because they've won their trust.
Uh-huh.
And that is so true. That is 100% grooming.
And the thing that is really hard, especially that somebody that has taken the time to groom that person to
Yeah.
get the information to bring their guards down,
Yeah.
if you talk to that person about somebody who is, you know, scamming them,
Yeah.
it's obvious to you, but
Right.
you try to bring up that
Yeah.
very delicately
Yeah.
because then they can just turn on you and
Right.
say,
Oh,
and it's like, what this is what's happening.
yeah.
You know, I'm really trying to help you, and I
Right.
want you to see this. Just try to change it, and then you got to narrow. You have the narrative has to be different.
Right.
Is
Right.
one
Yes.
one way in explaining or showing might work, and then the next, like that one lady that over a $500,000. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, she was even after we got everything you know, situated for her, she was still trying to reach out to this groomer.
That's
But
crazy.
but once he found out that he didn't have access to her social security benefits,
Yeah.
he stopped communicating with her
Oh, yeah.
because she had a you know she had the payee, and so she didn't have any access to money except for money for you know extra necessities that she might need, and that wasn't enough for the scammer. They
Yeah.
were done.
Yeah, and that's normally how it happened too, whether a scammer or somebody that's grooming them or manipulating the individual. Once they know that they are exposed and they can no longer carry out their agenda, they will eventually back 100%.
Well, the
100%.
thing is that with this particular case, what they kept doing is they kept changing their cell phones, just doing the
Wow.
burners.
Wow.
So and so even the only reason why he stopped because he was still in communication with her
Yeah.
is that you know when the social security benefit when he was all she had left was like $100 a week to take care of her essentials, and then she couldn't get a hold of him anymore, and then it took a little bit for her to realize, you know what, I think you were right.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah. I
you know it's a horrible thing to see because they're so exposed and
hmm
they're so upset that they let that happen, but and they keep and then they feel like they're a fool,
Yes.
and it's like, no, this
Yes.
happens to everybody, the
Yes.
educated, the
Yeah.
uneducated, the
Yes.
and the different spectrums from the you know the elderly to you know the young adults. I said
Yes.
they're good. I said this is
Yes.
what they do. This is
Yes.
how they get their money,
Yes.
and they know all the different behaviors, human
Yes.
behaviors, and they see when they talk to you, so they can latch into that, and so they're good.
Oh, they're very good. I just thought about this. So, one year down here when I ended up, it was like later when I moved to Sacramento. I actually got scammed, me and my cousin, and we were looking. So we was renting out this house in Citrus Heights, and the owner gave us a very short notice that she was selling the house, her and her husband. And so, of course, back then we was using Craigslist, and so we had to get online to try to like, find
Wow.
another rental. Well,
Oh,
we ended up finding a place in North Natomas area, and this guy, he had, we was talking or whatever. He said, "Well, I'm gonna have an open house this Sunday, blah 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 blah," and he was asking different questions about your income and blah blah blah, But I was a little bit standoffish with him reporting about my income because I hadn't met him yet. So at least that part I was smart in that area. Well, I had went out there first. And then, I sat around for like 30 minutes. Then my cousin came out there. So it was literally an open house. So the way he had it set up was he had the open house for a couple of hours. That means people was able to come in and out, fill out applications, all of that. Okay. And so the people that were interested, he had like a one-on-one session with them in the backyard, just kind of trying to get to know them a little bit more and blah, 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 blah. And so after that, maybe like a week later, he ended up, actually, I was in San Francisco when he called me. It was on a Saturday. A week later, he had called me and said, "Oh, we want to go with you, blah, 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 blah. I need your check stubs and what do you check stubs, ID, just all this personal information and
social
stuff.
security number.
Yeah, all of that. Yeah, yeah, all of
That's
that,
the
all
scary
of that.
part. That's the scary part. The social
Yeah.
security. Yeah.
And so I was so excited because I'm like, oh, we got somewhere to stay, blah, 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 blah. Dana, I promise you it's a true story. So we actually left San Francisco a little bit early because I was on a week vacation. We actually left early so that I can get back, because I needed a place to stay.
Hmm.
So I gave him everything. I just, everything was good. And so he ended up obviously needing the same thing for my cousin and the day that we were supposed to move in, so the day that we were supposed to move in, no, let me back. The day before we were supposed to move in, I just ended up having to drive by the house because there was things that needed to be fixed that he promised to be fixed. And when I drove up out of the house, I was able to look in the window. I saw stuff that wasn't fixed, and I'm thinking like, man, we're supposed to move in tomorrow, and that was a red flag to me. I called him. I said, hey, was in the area. Hey, I drove by the house. Blah blah. I looked in windows. Something fixed. He said, oh no no no, we're gonna get out there 4 in the morning. Blah 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 blah. Still fast talking me. This is a true story. So the day that we were supposed to move in, he ended up leaving the keys on the porch or whatever. Nothing was done. Nothing was done. Okay. When I said nothing, nothing was done. So
Oh,
at this moment, my cousin, I was like, oh, this is a scam. I still wasn't 100% convinced though. For some reason, I knew something was gone wrong, but I'm telling you, I was not 100% convinced. And so I called. He didn't pick up. I called, and he didn't pick up. And so I ended up telling him, I said, through the text message, I said, this is a scam. I'm going to call the police. He immediately responded. Matter of fact, he called me. He was like, "Oh, I mean to call you. Emergency happened. Da 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 da. We're gonna get things fixed tomorrow. Da 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 da. Can you stay in your place another day?" Now my cousin already know what's going on, but I'm
yeah.
still have hope. I still have hope that this ain't a scam. Next day, the same thing. So, make a long story short, I started threatening him. Now, keep in mind, I still did not go to the police. At the time, so I was threatened because at that point, I wanted to get my money back, right?
How much money was
Oh
involved?
my God, it was like
Did you give a
maybe
deposit? Did you give him a
it was like
deposit
close to
first
three
month,
thousand
right?
dollars.
Yeah,
Yeah, close to three
yeah,
thousand dollars
yeah.
easily.
He had you.
Oh yeah, yeah. And so because he was saying if you go to the police, I'm not gonna give your money back. He said, but at that point, I just want to get my money back. You know what I'm saying? And so me and him went back. So now I stopped manipulating him. We going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And so he decided to meet me at Starbucks. Um, and he told me, he said, look, I can give you some of your, he told me, he said, I'm gonna pay your money back, but I only can give you this much. So the first time we met, he gave me like $500.
Oh,
No, true story. Now, I want you to hear this out.
oh,
Please hear me.
I am. Oh,
He gave me $500. But see, I was scared to go up there by myself because I mean, I'm thinking this guy might hurt me. He met me. He gave me the $500. He apologized. He asked me, "Did you go to the police?" I told him no, which I didn't at the time. So after I got the $500, I didn't think the man was gonna give me any more money. I thought he was gonna flake on me. So I called the police. I went down there, explained everything to them. I ended up finding out that he was scamming many people. Many people that were at that open house, he had scammed. So they did all this investigation. I worked with them or whatever, whatever. And so I told him, I said, well, he's supposed to meet me next week. They strongly advised me not to do that. They
Okay.
strongly advised me not to do it. So I was telling them, I said, well, why don't y'all come up there and y'all could arrest him? And they was like, well, no, we still doing an investigation, blah, 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 blah. I wasn't trying to hear what they were saying. Because in my mind, if I could get to a little bit more money out of the deal, I'm gonna do it. Dad, I kid you not. The man met me a second time.
Oh my gosh.
I promise you I'm not lying. The man met me a second time and gave me $1,000. I took a friend up there. Now I'm playing cool. And so he was like, you call the police. I said, no, I told you I'm not going to call the police as long as you get my money back. And at this point, I had a little bit more boldness, because I knew he didn't want me to call the police and he's giving me some back. He said, okay, I'll meet you next week and give you some more money. I promise I'm not lying. The next week he met me. Matter of fact,
Oh
he
my.
met me at Home Depot in Natomas. It was some girl with him in the car. He because he said he's going to get some tools and stuff. He met me up there with a friend. He gave I'll make a long story short, it took 5 payments for this man to pay me back, and he paid me back in increments, and I got all my money back. True story,
Wow.
all my money back. And I was lying to the officer because they was like, "Well, have you talked with him?" Da da da. I told him no because and
They
the
would stop you.
yeah, exactly. The way my
They
mind
would
was
stop you.
working, and I
Yeah.
get they was looking out for my safety, but in my mind, I'm like, at least I'm getting something back out the deal. And every time that man said he was going to meet me down, I promise you, he met me and ended up paying all
Wow.
my money back.
I
So
can't believe that. I
I,
can't believe
I
he kept
promise you.
meeting you.
True
Wow.
story. True story. And so during that time, doing investigation, I went down there. I had to pick him out of a lineup with pictures. If they had different pictures, different guys, I picked him out and stuff like that. So 2 years, I'll probably say about 2 years later, uh, one of the officers, the investigator, reached out to me. She told me that they got him in custody. Do you know that even after the situation with me and other people, he continued to do the scam?
Of course.
He
Of
continued to do
course.
the scam.
Yeah, that he didn't get in trouble the other times. He's just going to keep doing what brings money in.
He continued to do the scam. And I had to go down to the police station, talk to her and stuff. And she was asking me if I would be willing to come to court and testify. I told her absolutely. And she fell out laughing. Absolutely. She fell out laughing again because she was telling me about like how he was really targeting older adults. I mean, he was getting over on so many people. And I went down to court and I testified. Sure did.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
But you got your money back. Probably other people did not.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
and that's what she said. And when she called me 2 years later, that's when I ended up telling her that I got all my money back. And she was shocked, and she said, that's not a normal situation. She said normally people don't get their money back. She said that's why we strongly advised against it because we was worried about your safety and all that. Yeah,
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 that's that. And that's still continuing today.
yeah,
It's still
yeah,
continuing today
yeah, yeah,
because we do housing searches for our clients,
yeah,
and it's like, okay, if it's too good to be true, it probably is, because we do
yeah,
a lot of the social media things too, but it's like, this is what's out there, but you need to check and then check
yeah,
with us to make sure that it's a legit thing,
yeah,
especially with private landlords, because you just
yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
And just so you know, and anybody listening to this podcast, you could always do a Google search to see who is the owner of the
yeah,
property, and then
yeah,
that way you know who is it. When you see the names, and then you can just ask the property manager, well, where are you located? And if
yeah.
it doesn't match, then it's probably a scam.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
later I found out that that property was being foreclosed.
Hmm.
and it was vacant for a while. And what he ended up doing is he found that property and he ended up breaking in there and getting the locks changed, which is why he
No.
had keys and stuff like that. It was very, 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 very well thought out, extremely well thought out. I mean,
Well, especially back in that day when there was a lot of foreclosures. So there
yeah,
wasn't a lot of question as to
yeah,
that, if there is something happening. And, a lot of times neighbors don't, it's like, oh, okay, we know that this is vacant.
yeah,
Hopefully somebody's moving in. We got
yeah,
neighbors, because even if the neighbors are watching,
yeah,
it might look legit to them,
yeah, yeah,
especially if they took down signs, because there could
yeah,
have been a foreclosure sign and you take it down. You don't know if that's real or not, if it's been done, or if it's been overtaken by somebody who's doing something that's illegal. You don't
yeah,
know. And
yeah.
then you get the squatters on that too.
Yes,
So,
exactly,
and
exactly.
that can happen too. But it is, it's the grooming part of it, in the trust,
Yeah.
that happens, and you believe them. I can't believe that you were able to get your money back. That is
That
crazy.
I got every penny back. I'm telling you. And because I started to kind of manipulate him a little bit too, because like I told you, like the first few times, I did not call the police because he made it clear if you call the police, you're not getting nothing back. And he said, I can pay you $500 the first time. And I'm telling you, he met me and gave me $500. And,
So
and
he kept his scam going, and then he just kept giving you a little bit from his scam.
that's exactly what he was doing. And so for me, I'm thinking like, 'cause when he gave me the first 500, I'm like, it's over with. I just didn't think he was gonna continue. But the second time, when he gave me that $1,000, I'm like, I had more hope. Like, well, why would he pay me this 1,500 and not the rest of it? And he did total 5 payments, and I'm telling you, he paid me all my money, literally all my money.
That's
True
crazy, because
story.
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah,
That doesn't
yeah,
happen, because I've, unfortunately, in the housing coordinating world, that happens, still now. And it's hard, because you're so desperate, and
yeah,
then you lock into that desperateness of, oh,
yeah,
I got a place that's affordable and it's nice, and you don't know. So,
yeah.
and they
And
got them.
yeah, and another thing I thought was interesting to me too was I felt like he trusted me in a sense, which is so weird after you to scam me because when I think the third payment was at we met at Home Depot in Atonements. When I pulled up, he literally had some girl in the car with him. She had her window down. I don't know what he told her. There was no verbal communication between me and her at all. He got the car, pulled up, he got the car, and he made his third installment. And he shook my hand and he said, I'll see you next week. I said, okay. And I'll text you with the details. Yeah, that's literally how it was.
Who's grooming who? Then you
Right, right.
started
Yeah.
grooming him.
Yeah. I'm telling you that literally this is a true story. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
So that
yeah, because
that
that
last
that
payment,
never happens, man.
yeah,
You were able to walk down that path that could have been really ugly
I
too.
know,
So,
I know.
I mean, that, talk about danger.
Yeah,
But I'm glad you were able to get through that without a scratch, so to speak.
yeah,
Except
yeah.
for, I'm sure it brought you back to, like, check and verify,
Oh
because
yeah,
that's something that I always say to anybody who thinks that if it's too good to be true, it
yeah,
is. It is.
yeah,
So, and it's a hard lesson. And that's what I tell anybody that I know that and that I'm working with that are going through scams. I'm like, it happens to everybody. There's no need to
yeah.
be embarrassed about it. It is what it is. It happens to everybody,
It does.
no matter
It
what kind
does.
of education you have. They
Yeah,
know. They
yeah,
know. They know how to rope you in.
yeah,
And because a lot of times, especially the elder that I work with, they're
yeah,
just embarrassed and they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to go to the police. They don't want to do any of that. But it's like, you have to, because these people are, I should say, you should, because this behavior is going to continue. If you
yeah,
don't report it, it's going to happen to somebody else. It's
yeah.
probably already happening to somebody else.
Yeah, you are 100% correct, Diana. I was so embarrassed. And I didn't tell a lot of people. I did not. I only told a few people that, yeah, it was a few. Trust me.
Yeah.
Nobody
I
in my family knew. Like I just other than my cousin, because
You
but
guys
I
were both
just
involved.
yeah. And I told him, I
Yeah,
said, don't
that's
tell nobody. Cause it was embarrassed. I'm like, how did that happen to me? I felt like I was smart, competent, I'm educated and got a good job. And so how did he get me like that?
yeah, it's that grooming at the beginning and the
Yeah.
trust.
Yeah.
Uh, it's kind of like fishing.
Yeah.
Put out the bait and see who's going to come in, and then you hook them with
Yeah.
what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is you got the better of him because you groomed him.
Oh yeah, and I didn't know what I was doing at the time. After the second payment, I became because like the first two time I was scared, and that's why I met him at Starbucks.
Hmm.
And I'm like, well, at least we'll be around people. I took a friend up there. I was literally scared, heart beating fast. My mind is playing tricks. I'm thinking, well, maybe he's gonna follow me back home. He got some people out here, like the whole 9 yards. But
Well,
after
of
that
course.
second. Yeah, after that second one, when he met me at Home Depot, I started to get a little bit more bold. Like
Hmm.
my actions started to get a little bit more bold. Like I was more confident that I'm gonna get all my money back. I made sure that I continued to let him know if you don't pay me all my money, I am going to the authorities. I lied to him and told him when we met the first two times that I had somebody recording it in another car, which I didn't. So I was you know,
Well, you were saying all the right things
yeah,
for him
yeah,
to move him along,
yeah,
which is what a groomer does.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's good because you flipped the
yeah,
script, and which was
yeah.
a good thing. You didn't even know it. You were just trying to
No,
get your money back.
that's it. That's it. I was trying to come up with everything I can think of to keep this man motivated to pay my money back.
Yeah,
To pay my
and
money back. And like I said, the third time in the Home Depot when he had that girl with him, I knew. It was like for some reason, I'm like, he's gonna pay my money. I just knew he's gonna pay all of it back. I knew because he got too comfortable. No way in the world I would have brought somebody with me if I was on a scam to meet somebody. No
right.
way. As a matter of fact, he lived in Oakland. I found out he lived because he told me he lived in Oakland and he was driving up from Oakland to Sacramento to make installments to me. Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
yeah.
Did you ever get his license plate
I did.
number?
I
Oh,
did.
okay,
I
that's good.
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. I
Well,
did.
you know what? Maybe once he knew that you met in person and that you said you were recording, he
Yeah.
probably is like, "Oh no, he's got my license plate down.
Oh
It's in
yeah.
the recording." So I
Yeah.
mean, it was smart, but crazy too, Jesse, because you
Yeah.
could have got hurt.
Yeah, I could have. I could
And
have.
more people get hurt for less than that amount and
Yeah.
die for five
Yeah.
hundred bucks. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. That was interesting. Interesting. I
yeah,
want
but
to talk
that's
a little bit about let's switch a little bit. I want
okay.
to talk a little bit about we're gonna stay on self-harm injuries or self-harm, but I want to talk a little bit about how people harm themselves by staying in unhealthy relationships.
Oh, that's such a hard one. It ranges from domestic violence
Yes.
to just emotional chaos where
Yeah.
somebody just drag. I mean, just because someone doesn't hit you physically,
Yeah.
the repercussions of being knocked
Yeah.
down is
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
And it's self harm because you're allowing somebody to do that to you.
Uh-huh.
And unfortunately, I'm sure both professionally and personally, knowing that these things happen to a lot of good people with good
Yeah.
intentions,
Yeah.
um, thinking that they're going to help this person
Yeah.
when they're basically killing you.
100%. 100%. And allowing yourself to be put in a situation that know will eventually cause harm. I've recently had a situation, and you know about this, where somebody was in a or still is in a situation, and I've made the decision to step back because it was really weighing on my mental health, my emotions.
Good. I'm
This
glad to hear that.
Oh,
I'm glad to hear that.
100%.
I'm glad to hear that.
100%. And this individual pretty much is being groomed, taken advantage of, manipulating, and all that. So what I ended up doing was just kind of I ain't gonna say kind of cutting the cord to the point when I found out that this individual was giving the other individual money, I found out that I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say my friend, put like that, for, you know,
Perfect.
yeah, was taking out payday loans
Oh
and
no, not
yeah,
the payday loans.
and giving it to
Oh,
the individual.
oh
And
no.
so I made the decision like, no loans from here. I'm not giving you $10, $5, nothing. And I've noticed since I set those boundaries, I feel more better because I realize it's my responsibility to take care of myself. It's my responsibility to set those boundaries and not allow another person's poor choice to bring harm or bring things my way that it's not beneficial or benefit me from my mental health, my physical health. So yeah, like I'm good. And it's yeah, I'm on the outside looking in, but it's there's a part of me obviously that still feels bad for this individual, but that's something that they have to go through because of choice that they're making. That's not my choice.
Exactly. But
You
you know
know?
what the thing is you got roped into it, so it makes it, and it makes it more okay. I have to help. I have to
Yeah,
help, and
yeah,
that happens with the nurturing
yeah,
and enabling.
yeah.
And when you enable somebody, even though you know that they're hurting themselves, you have to take a step back and put
You have to.
those boundaries,
You have
because
to.
otherwise you're going down the sinking ship with them,
Exactly.
and it makes everything in your life, spiral.
Exactly.
Your life is based on their decisions. I'm so glad that you did that,
Oh,
Jesse,
oh,
because that is a terrible spot. That's a terrible spot to be in.
oh
And
yeah. I
and it's hard, especially when you love the person.
mhm. Oh
And
yeah.
in domestic violence, in my personal life, in my family, I mean, I still have a person that I love deeply, and she stayed with him, and she's still married to him after 30 years. But now, and it's because it was because of always because of drugs. But he
Mhm.
quit the drugs, but the behavior's still there. The
Yeah.
manipulation, that kind of stuff is still there. And I'm very uh respectful to the relationship because that's what she chooses. But he
Yeah.
knows I don't like him, and I tell him,
Yeah.
I'm watching you. I know what you're doing. I don't
Yeah.
care if you're not doing drugs.
Yeah.
And I go, but I know you're still doing that, but that's what she chooses, and I
Yeah.
will still watch you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
I don't say
That's
that in
it.
front of her, but I tell him that, and
Yeah.
so he knows.
Yeah.
But still, you have to respect that boundary for yourself,
You
because
have to.
you can't,
Yeah.
otherwise you become part of the problem, so to speak.
Yes. Yes.
uh, and then you all go down that
Yeah.
down with the ship, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. When that situation first, I was really it really bothered me. And it bothered me a lot. And I didn't understand. And but I think what helped me out, just you and a few more people talking to me also, what helped me out too is like, well, this person's gonna have to find out. They just
Yeah,
this maybe this is a process that they have to go through for them to get it. And this situation may help them later on in life because they went through this experience. Because that's what we go through. We
yeah,
learn from our life experience. And it's
yeah.
much
And if we have those little buffers in, and you try to keep saving that person, they're
right.
never going to learn.
Never gonna
um
learn.
Case in point, I had a client this week. Situations, free will. You decide what you want to do, and decided that they did not want those particular services because it didn't go to their standards.
Yeah.
And it's like, you offer all these things, they got free will, and then they're there on the streets now going, what else can you do? It's like, there's nothing else that our entity can do,
Yeah.
but you have to decide what you want to do.
Hmm.
You have options. You don't like those options, but these are the only options that are available to you now. And had to disconnect that contact, so to speak. But you can't assist somebody if they don't want that assistance. They thinking that she's thinking that she's already gone to the bottom but she has not yet.
Right.
Being on
Exactly.
the streets, that's bottom.
Yeah.
And trying to get into the shelter, which she said she would not do, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen that quickly.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when, people have that self-harm, and
Yeah.
and with somebody else always bailing out. Uh,
Yes.
and you have to, even, in my professional world, I always think of it as a loss, but it's not. But they have to decide because they
Right.
have free will. All
It,
you can
it's
do is present the options,
it's their
and
decision.
and
One.
um, and then take a step back, and you got to watch them sink. But there's nothing you can do about it. But
Yeah.
hopefully they'll learn.
Yeah.
If not, you know, that's they'll come to the hard reality.
Yeah.
And it's hard, and especially if it's on the personal level and it's somebody that you love. It's
Yeah.
really hard, but
Yeah.
you have to for your
Yeah.
own mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And I'm of the mindset now where, like I said, I do believe that situation is supposed to take place based off the choices that this individual made. But it's not going to, trust me, I'm not in it like that. I don't,
Good,
I'm,
good.
I'm, I'm going to make sure I'm okay.
And you
Cause
have to. And
yeah,
and as I tell my clients and my own personal people in my life,
yeah,
it's just like with the pilot says on the airplane, you got to put that mask on first.
yeah.
I know you want to help your loved one, but if you don't have that mask on first, then you're not
Yeah.
going to be good for anybody.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not going down for somebody else's bad decision. I'm not, no, not at all. And I
Yeah.
made it very clear, I'm not giving nobody no money. Ain't nobody borrowing them from me. I'm talking this individual. You got to
Mhm.
figure this out because before the situation happened, you was in a very healthy financial space.
Mhm. Especially financial.
Yeah,
Financial is such a big thing with self-harm.
yeah,
Most people don't think of financial self-harm,
yeah,
but they think of the physical, somebody cutting, someone
yeah,
hurting themselves. That's huge because you can see that. But the
yeah,
financial you can't see. Uh,
yes,
you cannot see that unless you're in that world with them to see
yeah,
what's happening when they're drowning.
yeah,
But financial is a huge self-harm in the clients that I serve and work with.
yeah. And I work too hard to get things where they should be financially for me. And I'm not willing to let somebody manipulate somebody I care about to get off in my pockets. That's not going to happen.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm
That's
not.
good. You got to set that barrier.
Yeah,
It's hard.
it is
It's hard.
hard. It is hard, but the more you take a look at yourself and realize like, you in a good space and you've been through things in life and just step back and
And
let
that's how you learned.
right. That's my point. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard when you have to take that step back and watch somebody fall, but you know what? You'll be there when they're ready.
Yeah, I'll be there in a different
But I mean,
capacity. Not in
emotionally
yeah,
support.
yeah, that's it. That's it. But anything else, no. I know how this story gonna end. And because I know me, I can be a little bit stubborn at times. It but yeah, I'll be there, but it would be in a different capacity. And nature has to take its course pretty much. So
Yeah,
even
it
yeah,
will. And it will.
yeah, yeah,
That's just how it works.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
The hard knocks of life.
I know. I know. Well, my friend, we have run out of time. That's it for this edition of Mental Health Matters. If you enjoyed this particular show, if you would like to be a guest on our show, or if you would like a DVD copy of this show, please dial 916-366-4600. Thank you.